The Public Protector and President Cyril Ramaphosa are back in court today. Let's cross live to our editorial contributor, Karen Moore in Pretoria. Karen, a very good morning to you. It almost feels like a deja vu. President Cyril Ramaphosa and Busisiwe Mkhwebane back in court again, this time over the CR17 campaign, as well as some dodgy Bosasa dealings. Talk us through exactly what will happen today.
Well, the big difference in terms of what's happening today is that we don't see the Public Protector opposing President Cyril Ramaphosa's application to interdict the implementation of her remedial action pending the outcome of his substantive review to her report on his CR17 campaign, and which of course includes her order that he disclose who funded that campaign to Parliament. Now, in effect, that kind of fight that he's bought largely, almost the horse has bolted, because we've seen in the last few days a number of news outlets publishing information in relation to the bank statements, the campaigner, the funder's identity, and a number of other pieces of information that effectively mean that much of what the president would have been forced to disclose has been disclosed anyway. But of course, Ramaphosa is contesting that Mkhwebane's report on the CR17 campaign is defined by factual and legal inaccuracies and misinterpretations of the law, that in fact her finding that this campaign may have been complicit in money laundering is completely unfounded on any kind of evidential basis, and that in fact she's used the wrong law to try and define that so-called alleged money laundering. And we've also seen over the last few days, a lot of interplay between the Office of the Public Protector, National Director of Public Prosecutions, Shamila Batoy, who in fact wrote to Mkhwebane and expressed concern that she may have misinterpreted her powers by attempting to order the National Director of Public Prosecutions to conduct an investigation into those allegations of money laundering. But today will contain none of the fireworks that we've seen in previous court cases over the past few weeks. It's going to be a matter of a few minutes, an order granted by agreement between the parties that this remedial action will be stayed, and perhaps, and Paul, us getting a date for when this very, very important review, which President Cyril Ramaphosa and the Public Protector say they want finalized as soon as possible, will be heard.
Now, Karen, the Public Protector has lost several high-profile cases over the course of the past few weeks. And just now looking at the crux of the president's argument, what essentially is the president putting on the table here?
Well, there are a number of arguments. I mean, he's attacking this issue of money laundering. He says that it's legally and factually unfounded. He also says that the Executive Ethics Code cannot be used, as it has been by the Public Protector, to force him to disclose who funded his private political election campaign for the ANC. He specifically referred to a ruling that was made by the Ethics Committee of Parliament in relation to Musi Maimani's funding in 2017, where they said that actually there was a grey area, that for members to disclose public private funding that they received in terms of their leadership campaigns, there would have to be an amendment to the Executive Ethics Code, and that hasn't happened. He's also saying essentially that a lot of the conjecture that the Public Protector makes about the way in which his campaign financing was done, that she believes that the movement from account to account was somehow suspect, is simply untenable, and he makes arguments for why he believes this is the case. But essentially, differing from the Minister Pravin Gordhan, who's gone very much after the Public Protector and her political motivations that he accuses her of having, the President has really suggested that the Public Protector doesn't have an understanding of the law, and that her findings and her remedial action are essentially legally incompetent. That is the word that he words throughout his application.
Thank you so much. Let's leave it there. Our editorial contributor, Karen Moore, of course, just keeping us up to speed ahead of those proceedings. The showdown in court, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane and President Cyril Ramaphosa.